Share it up, the chat. Okay. Yeah. Right, no problem. Right. Hey, Derek, what's up, man? I have no idea what's going on, Derek. I was here with TR and two other persons trying to figure out what's going on with me in this. This is the second time this has happened to me. Hold on. I'm going to drop the link. Derek, can you share it? Hey, Steph. We're having a little problem here. Hey, Nadira. What's up? We're having a little issue. Everybody's been waiting. Hi, Nad. Thanks for staying. My brother, Vermon Paint and Photos, thank you so much for waiting, man. We're having a technical issue, and I had to reach out to TR and a couple other people. All right? Okay, yes, yeah, Derek, please share it, because there are a lot of people in Facebook and stuff who said they wanted to come on over. So I'm going to see if I can head there and do it. Thank you so much, man. Can you drop the link, Derek, in the previous link that people are waiting in also, please? Thanks. Okay, welcome everyone. Thank you. I'm sorry for all the other people who are waiting and vanished. Well, I'm going to see if I can get this to the SF. Yeah, but just bear with me a little longer. We're trying to figure out. I seem to be having an issue with my YouTube studio, because this is the second time this has happened to me, and none of the experts can tell me what's going on, because I don't seem to be doing anything wrong. So, but these things happen, I guess, right? Well, there. Need a little more light. Okay, so welcome everyone. Let me quickly get this done while I'm talking to you. Bear with me. All right. Thanks for coming, Steffi. Thanks, Nads. Thanks for being here. Derek, thank you again. All right. I'll get to it in like 10 seconds. Just give me a little bit. Let me try and share this out to a few people. Because, we're trying to understand what's going on, everybody. But I guess these things happen, and it makes no sense to be flustered in the process. And I'm hearing myself. Nice. All right. Okay. Okay. Well, I had wanted to talk about us feeling used. Yeah. All right. Right. So I had wanted to talk about that feeling we all get occasionally when we feel as if, we have been exploited by people who should be there to protect us and take care of us. The people who are supposed to be loving us and ensuring that we are fine. Yeah. So once again, I want to apologize for the late start. Hi, Angela M. Thank you so much for coming on over. Thank you very, very much. It means a lot. I'm really sorry for the delay, everyone, but we're going to get into it. Hi, Sylvia. Bestie, what's up? What are you doing? Yeah, so I wanted to talk very, very quickly. Expedition Greg, welcome. Lady Be Unstoppable, thank you so much for coming over. All right. We're just trying to get everyone to come on over here so we can continue and we can start up the the conversation. Yeah, so recently I had a conversation with a dear friend who she was with someone for a period of time, and she was deeply in love with the person, and it didn't work out, which happens in life. But I think what she was most upset about is the person in the process borrowed about $1.6 million from her, which in US is about 14,000 US dollars, and vanished into the wind after she gave him the money. And they'd been together for like maybe 9, 10 months, which really, really, really upset her clearly. Derek, see if you can share the link, please, with with SF Rose, if possible, because I'm supposed to do it, and you guys know I can't multitask. Yes. All right. If you can do that, Derek, I would appreciate it. All right. Yes. Okay. So now we're gonna. So what I did is I put this question out on Facebook and on my Instagram and stuff, and several persons responded. Some inbox and some, telling me like really horrible stories that they had about people using them. You know what I'm saying? And when I say use, let me explain. People exploiting them, people taking advantage of the fact that they care about them, and those persons apparently didn't. In other words, the feeling wasn't really mutual. The person was simply there because there was something that that person had that they wanted. One young lady on Facebook talked at length about being engaged to someone and about to marry him, only to find out that he was just there because he wanted a green card. Another young lady, the gentleman wanted. Thank you very much, Derek. You're the best. And another young lady told me of an experience where what happened to her was she was with this person. They were friends. They started dating. Everything was fine, and he needed to purchase a house. And he asked her to assist him, and he did so. She did, and then when he got the house, when she realized the house wasn't in both of their names, it was just in his, and he ended the relationship. And I can go on and go on and go on. But what happened to me many years ago, if you're here in my life 2 days ago, I told you about an experience I had with this young lady who, while we were living together for over 2 years, she took my money, and she used my money and went to New York and married someone else. Which I still think is very, very funny. I don't care what anybody says. For me, was a very, very funny experience. But one of the other things I didn't tell you in that situation is while we were together, her parents were, thank you very much, Derek. Great job, man. Thank you so very much. I agreed to you to be unstoppable. So what happened is while we were together, I was doing okay, and she was struggling. So she asked me to assist her parents. So while we were together, for the 2 years, I paid her parents' mortgage. Yes, nobody judged me. And I also sent her sister to school. I sent her to school. Yes. And, I made sure that the family was okay. I helped them with their groceries, etc. And this is something that people would do, I guess, normally. So when she went and she married this other young man while we were together, because she said he could give her. She told me, actually, let me be accurate. Her mother, when I went to her mom and I said, "Oh no, this is what happened to me," I'm not going to call her name. It was horrible. She said to me, her mother said, "Yes, but you can't give her a green card. You're not an American citizen." Listen, man, I have a serious sense of humor, but to me, that was actually really funny. At the time, it hurt, but when I thought about it just a few hours later, it was really, really, really funny. So what happened is, so I was paying her parents' mortgage, sending her to school, sending her sister to school, and then I eventually paid for her wedding to this other person, right? And I'm not lying to you, people. That stung. That really, really, really hurt. And for a few moments, I kind of said to myself, I said, you know something? Hi, Sandy K. Welcome. Welcome, 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 welcome. Thank you for being here. Greg Manley, pick up yourself. Welcome, my brother. Thank you for being here. Sorry about the trouble earlier, but we're getting it together. Yeah. So I remember when I confronted her and I said, the old speech. How could you do this to me? Tears streaming down my eyes. Why would you do this? And she said, I, you know, I, you know. Oh, it was kind of funny. But the truth is, hi SF, welcome, welcome, CD. Thank you so very, very much. Thank you everybody for sticking around. You know, I have to figure out what's going on with my YouTube studio. It's just really weird. I mean, 1 minute it's fine, and then the next minute I'm having issues. So maybe I should reach out to some technical person at YouTube, being a new YouTuber. But as I said, she didn't think anything was wrong with it. And then I found out that her mother basically had said to her, you know, it's okay. I mean, you know, he'll pay this, and then you marry him. And then and then I started to think about it, and I said, you know, who am I going to be mad at here? This is how she was brought up. She was actually brought up to believe that this was fine. And when my friend explained this to me and listening to the horror stories, and one gentleman said he met this young lady. He was 21, she was 18. They started to date. He sent her to college, sent her to university. She got a degree. She became a lawyer. Hi, Carter Club. Welcome. Thank you so much for coming. Sorry about the mix-up. And then after she graduated, she got her law degree. She started to work. She left him. You know, after they were together for like 7 years or 8 years, she left him, and she actually said to him, "You are not on the same level as I am." As told by Tina. Hey, as told by Tina, welcome. Thank you for coming into the chat. You know, welcome, welcome, welcome. Simple rules, we are not allowed to drop links here. Only the moderators can do that. Please say hello to each other. This is about love and wisdom and expressing, you know, and community. All right. All right. Thank you. So, and feel free to comment on anything I'm talking about, you know, so, you know, we can talk about it. So he was with her for 8 years, sent her to school, sent her to university. She got her degree. And then she said she had to leave him because she was now at this level intellectually and he was at this level. So she said she could no longer relate to him. And of course, he was really, really upset about this. And the thing I was wondering, listening to all these horrible stories of people being hurt repeatedly over and over again, is I sometimes wonder, and I actually believe this, right? I kind of believe that often the people who are doing this to us or to you or to others don't realize that what they're doing is wrong. They really don't see it because they're seeing it from their perspective. What's up, Exhibition Greg? Yeah. They, in their mind, they're seeing it as, you know, I'm taking advantage of a situation. They think nothing is wrong with what I'm doing. This is perfectly fine. It's okay. Because as I said, when I spoke to the young lady, and I can't call her name, when I spoke to her, at the time, you know, everybody was upset and hurt and stuff. And when she said what she said to me, and she said, you know, Peter, you know, I had no choice. You know, I want to live in the US and you can't help me. So, and I said, but I don't understand. You could have had this conversation with me. You know, we could have discussed this. But she didn't realize she had done something wrong until 10 years after we broke up, when she reached out to me and she said, hey, which was a wonderful thing. I mean, I'd already forgiven her. When she reached out to me and she said, hey, you know what? I'm sorry about what I did. I realize now, you know, that I did something wrong. But what was interesting about that is she said to me, when we talked about it, she said, you know what happened? Someone used me after I used you. Hi, Aisha. What's up? Everybody, we're going to be rating Aisha after this. My girl, what's up? You good? All right. So, and welcome to the chat. Feel free to comment. So what happened is she said she was in turn used by someone else. And that's when, after it happened to her, she kind of sat down and realized that what she had done to me wasn't really right. It was the correct thing. How do we deal with those situations? Because the truth is, sometimes people are acting, and here's the thing. My father always said to me, I don't know if you've ever heard this terminology now. I've said this in the presence, I think I've said this to Nadira and Sylvia and Stephanie and Linda several times, which is, my father used to say to me, hurt people hurt people. So people who have been hurt and gone through this process, who are angry or upset or for whatever reason, start thinking it's okay to behave in the same way. It's okay for them to exploit you or use you. But there's another aspect to it, which is sometimes the people, it's not really about being hurt. Sometimes them does bad man, them does some bad people. They just don't care. They just want something, and that's the thing that they want, and that's the thing that they're going to go after. And if you are in the way, their process is, let me just use you until I get what I want. Some people have said, some of the people I spoke to on Facebook in my chat basically said to me, boy, I did this because I'm good. I told my friend about your entanglement. He said he should have been an entanglement too. Yeah, so sometimes I think what's happening with these people is that there are groups of people who do these things to us. And we have to start understanding that. First group of people are the people who are doing it to you and don't realize that they're doing it to you. And come on, you've all met those kinds of people, all right? You know what I'm talking about. The people who do something to you and you say, hey, you know, you stepped on my toe. What's going on? And they say, did I do that? Because they're oblivious. Like they, in their mind, they did nothing wrong. You know, why are you upset? Why would you be, you know, what would be the issue in this situation? Um, and I'm always bewildered by people like that because I'm saying, hey, you know, you're, you know, if you keep doing this is hurting. You are hurting me. Maybe you should stop doing this. You know, I know what I'm talking about. It's true that every once in a while we meet these people and they're oblivious to what they're doing to you. And I used to wonder, is it that they're oblivious because they don't care? Is it that they're oblivious because you know it's not relevant? Or is it just that it's all about what they want, what they've gone through? And I guess if you are not in that state of mind, it becomes very difficult to understand what's going on in their head. You get what I'm saying? It becomes very difficult to process why is it that this human being is so insensitive. My daughter always says, Nyla always says, Daddy, the person is probably just a sociopath. You know, they just don't care. They can't relate to another person's emotions or feelings. And I know that there are people who are like that. All right. Um, but I also think that there are people who sometimes they are innocent. They really don't know what they're doing to you. I mean, I've had a few moments like that. Okay, I don't know if you're here in the chat the other day, but I was talking about this situation I was in I'd gone to the club. You guys remember this? I'd gone to the club. You know, I was macking. I was feeling good. I met this gorgeous girl at the bar. You know, I stepped into her and I was doing the all Peter Smooth thing. And I have this Peter, you know, I mean, at the time I thought I was the Mac, and I was doing the all Derek C. Williams. You know what I'm talking about? You've done this a few times. That you know, when the pitch drops and you go, hey, what's up, baby? How you doing? You know, you get all Barry White. Yeah, baby. Yeah, baby. And we went home and to her place, and you know we were together. We were about to do the Marvin Gaye. Everything was going really well, and then there was a knock on the door. I told you this, and it was her husband. And I had to. I don't know if you remember this, but I had to spend 5 hours in. It's a okay. You know that they have these fold up um, ironing boards that they fold into a closet. So I had to literally go into the closet while her husband was there for 5 hours. And then after he left, I said to her, why didn't you tell me you were married? And she was like, oh, but you know, I didn't know he was going to come home at this time. And I was like, but you should have said something to me because, you know, the guy's big. I mean, the guy was like, he looked like he was like 6'4". And I don't mean like this was scary. But what was strange to me about this situation is that I said to her, I said, but you know, you could have informed me because I could have been in a serious situation of endangerment. And she said, but you know, I didn't expect him to come home. So why would have I told you about this? And it really struck me that in her mind, she was doing nothing wrong. Okay? She did nothing wrong. I mean, imagine, well, you didn't know me at the time, but you know, Sylvia knew me. Nadira didn't know me. Sylvia knew me. So Sylvia would have to come to the hospital and I would be like this. trying to explain to Sylvia why, every bone in my body was broken because this young lady just felt it was okay. Oh, Derek C. Williams said, I had that happen in the Navy to me. I had to hide in a closet too, 1990 and 92. Derek, was it the same? Was it the same person that it happened in 1990 with and then in 1992? Or are you saying from 1990 to 1992? Oh, you're out of the Navy in 1992. Oh, cool. All right, all right. And but you got away with it. Nothing happened. I mean, the husband didn't find out, did he? No. Obviously, because you're here having a conversation with us. Oh, two different situations. I was wondering. Aisha says, "Wait, Derek, you weren't in the closet for 2 years, were you?" listen, listen, guys, you can't do that. Hi, baby. Everybody say hello to my girl. This is my lady. This is my queen, Linda. Hi, Linda. What's up? Welcome. Oh my goodness. I'm amazed how many people I know have those kinds of stories. You would never believe that so many people have those stories. What is strange though, it's almost always men. I literally never ever hear any women. I mean, I know y'all have those stories, but you don't tell us, you're not going to share it. But we have had some really bizarre, oh my, listen, I'm literally, you can't let me cry on camera, okay? I can't get up because I'm wearing my underwear, so I can't get up. so, so, um, I'm so sorry. Oh gosh, I'm crying. Oh God, that was actually pretty funny. Aisha, that was very funny. Oh my gosh. Oh. So listen, years ago I was dating this young lady, and we thought we were madly in love. She was the first person I ever moved in with. I thought this girl was the one. This was the right person for me. And oh my gosh, she had a best friend, and the best friend, very nice girl. The best friend was dating this gentleman who, we all knew, because we used to hang out together as couples. So the best friend, she was the one that was sending him to university. All right. She was sending him to university. And, he got his law degree and graduated, got into a great law firm. And one day he came to her and said he was heading out. He didn't have any money. He needed to get a suit because his friend was getting married. All right. So she bought him this amazing, beautifully tailored, custom tailored suit, took him to one of our top tailors in Kingston, Jamaica, and bought him this beautiful suit. He went out and, yeah. And then when he came back home, spent the night with her after the wedding, everything was fine. And 3 days later, 4 days later, she came home and he had moved out. So he'd moved because they lived together. So he moved all his stuff out while she had gone to work. She found out that when she bought him the suit, he had actually gone to get married to a girl he met while going to law school, and who is now another lawyer. Now, spoiler, yeah, yes, as told by Tina. Real story. So this freaked her out, obviously. You know what happened, right? Within 3 months, myself and my girlfriend had broken up. Her 4 female friends had all left their boyfriends because of what had happened. In other words, it traumatized even them. Hell, it traumatized me. I couldn't believe anybody had done that. So I saw this guy like years later, and I eventually came to him and I said, "Hey, what's going on? And why did you do that?" And his answer was, and I quote, because this stuck with me for years. He said, "She had served her purpose." She had served her purpose. And I wasn't sure how to interpret that. She had served her purpose. That's literally what this person said. Peter, she served her purpose. You know, I have to move on to another chapter in my life. And I was like, yo, that was ice cold. That was one of the coldest things I've ever heard a human being say about another human being. Sylvia Dallas says, Aisha, I told my former husband once that I now got his jokes. He gave this strange look and said, you, oh, well, hi, Gemma Harvey. Welcome to the chat. How you doing? How are you? Thanks for coming in. Yeah, Nadira, he was savage. I'm not joking. That actually blew me away. That's one of the coldest responses I've ever seen a human being give to another human being. All right. Listen, people ask me why I laugh so much, but you know why I laugh? Because I've experienced some things that are so unimaginable and so unbelievable that you have to laugh to stay sane. If you don't laugh, you're gonna go crazy. All right. And I got that inference. Because my daughter believes that my jokes, she knows all my jokes by now. She has no clue. She has no clue. Yeah, Nadira, that was really frightening. That really hit me hard in the gut because I realized at that point in my life, like that was my really first very serious relationship. I realized what we are capable of doing and what people are capable of doing. So now that we have established that you do have people who do this, the thing now is how do we deal with this? Okay, cool. How do we deal with this? How do we deal with when people do this to us? Are we supposed to forgive them? That's why people, Sylvia M. Dallas says, that's why people think we are mad when we get together. We like, oh, Sylvia, you can't tell people that. You cannot tell people that we're mad. They might think I'm mad. Yeah, we know that you need help, but I am definitely not mad. And I'm sure anybody who knows me would agree with that statement, right? So Sylvia, you cannot tell anyone that I am mad. Yes, Nadira X says he was calculating. Karma will deal with it. Well, I haven't seen him since he gave me those wise words of, she had served her purpose and he needed to move on to another place and time. Host, it's my opinion that people who have traveled the world and have lots of experiences under their belt and are the most calm people you'll find. They make for very good friends as well. Yeah, that's probably true. I think people like that because you have lived through all these different things, you start realizing that people are capable of anything, and you cannot let anything cloud your judgment. Because when people react to you like that, I know this. I've had family do things to me that I wonder about. I've had close friends do things, not Sylvia M. Dallas, no. I've had girlfriends, exes do these things to me, and I've wondered. But the thing is, I also believe that I have Derek C. Williams. I've probably done things to people without even being aware that I've done it. All right. Yes, Aisha, we have to laugh to keep from crying, and that's why when I do my lives, I try to ensure that we at least smile because we can't take everything that's going on around us. We have some crazy stuff going on around us in our lives. And I'm talking before this pandemic came along. We have all, gone through some very, very odd things. And I think if you don't find a way to cope and deal with it, my father used to say to me, you have to find a way to forgive people. But he also said, do not forget what they did. He said, forgive them because that's for your own cleansing. But don't forget what they did. Because how else are you going to know? How else are you going to are you going to be able to process? Because we have to learn from what happens to us. That's the finest teacher. What Derek C. Williams said is true. I think the more you travel and the more the different groups of people you are friends with, that's one of the beautiful things about YouTube here. Because you meet so many different types of persons. When you are exposed to different cultures, different persons, when you're able to travel, physically leave where you are, do you start realizing, you start appreciating where you're from, and then what? You drop, Okay, yeah. I start appreciating who you are, where you're from, and then you start your brain does this, and you start seeing the world very differently. Because let's be honest, um, the sometimes the way we see things when we leave where we are at. Okay, I didn't understand the term sexism until I started to travel. I didn't understand that term. Now, understand, my father wasn't sexist in any way. I realized that, no. And I didn't grow up in a situation where the men around me were sexist. But I didn't also understand that this is a real term. I didn't understand what it meant. I couldn't comprehend it. But when I started to travel and I started to see that, yes, we noticed. Aisha, I agree. We should forgive, but it's very. I'm not sure if we should forget. I think we need to remember, so we learn the lesson and we move on. But I mean, as I was saying, when I started to travel, my mind opened up. So I started to realize, wait a minute. Okay, there are other ways of seeing this, and that's why I was saying sometimes people hurt you, but they're not even aware that they're hurting you. It has to do with how they were brought up, how they process, how they view pain. I One of our YouTubers here, I don't want to call her name unless it's okay, was telling us about how her mom was, and then towards the end when her mom and her got closer, she just accepted that this is my mom, and her mom was probably like that based on how she grew up. We don't know what shapes the people that we meet. So sometimes a person will enter your life and they will think it's okay to use you or to exploit you because guess what? Other people use and exploit them in their lives. So it's for them, it's perfectly okay. And so when I started to travel and I started to, and I mean, I was just fortunate to be able to travel. I realized that the way I see the world was not the only way to see the world. So it meant that my way of seeing the world wasn't necessarily correct, nor was it necessarily bad. Aisha says our vision is often skewed by the things we only know. Most often, our perspective isn't broad if we don't experience the world or other cultures. That's so true. I believe in celebrating our differences, and that's very very true. That's one of the reasons why um, I think we have to, as individuals, as persons, we have to try and keep an open mind, and it's difficult to not be judgmental because we all come from a perspective where we think we are right. You know, when I said a friend of mine came to me a couple of years ago, he was having an issue with his wife, and we were having a conversation about it. He was saying, "But Peter, they're Christians." He said, "But the Bible says, she should what?" I'm trying to remember. Aisha, I know you know this. Sylvia, I know you know this. But basically, you and I were talking about it earlier. He was saying, she's my wife. She should subjugate herself to me. She should, submit. And I said to him, I said, okay, but I mean, does submitting mean she doesn't have a right? And if she should submit, shouldn't you submit also? I mean, are you supposed to be equals here? But he said, and then he said something really significant. He said, that's how my father treated my mother. That's how my father treated my mother. That's what he grew up and he saw. He didn't know anything else. So in his mind, she should subjugate herself to him. All right. We had a long conversation and he's changed the way he sees things. So maybe sometimes when these people use us or exploit us, when that young lady told me the story and she sounded really hurt about being with this young man, they had been friends and then they became more than friends, they became lovers, and then they got engaged. She flew him up to the US. They were pursuing happiness, they were trying to get together. And then she found out inadvertently that his goal was just to get a green card. She said it really, really hurt her. But when she spoke to him and she said, hey, why did you do that? He said, I'm in a desperate situation and I have to get a green card. So you were the best option. He never apologized to her. He thought it was perfectly okay. And, I said to her, I said, boy, that must have been a very difficult thing to learn. And she said, yeah, but she said, yeah, but she said, you know what? I knew his situation. I'd been to where he came from, so I kind of got it. But the question is, why wasn't he honest with me? Yeah, that's true, Lady B Unstoppable. By the way, Lady B Unstoppable, you need to send me some of the coconut drops here. I tell you right now. You cannot come back to any of my lives unless you send me some coconut drops. I tell you right now. So really what I'm saying is I think when the okay, so so sometimes yes, people are just insensitive. Sometimes it's because they have a different perspective of life, right? But I also think there's another side to it. And that's the hard side. Sometimes we think we're being used and we're not. Sometimes we're being unreasonable. Sometimes we ourselves are being selfish and we don't even realize we're being selfish. Maybe sometimes we want the person to do what we want them to do, and that's it, and we don't want them to go any other. That's just it. Stay, do what I want you to do. Um, and I think, I mean, many of us get into those situations, where yeah, where sometimes we ourselves are the one who we're doing something, and the other person thinks, you know, we're exploiting them, or more importantly, we don't think we're doing anything wrong. We see nothing wrong what we're doing, but the other person thinks they're being exploited. And maybe this is where the communication thing comes along. And that's why people you need people like me in the world. Because if you don't have people like me in the world, and not because I'm intelligent or super bright, because I'm not. I'm not sure why you're even here listening to me. But I really think that you have to have a sort of balanced perspective of how you see the world. You have to start seeing the world. Like my friends would tell you, I laugh a lot, but it doesn't mean I don't process things. I laugh because I realize that, when the Almighty gave us, I mean, whoever you choose the Almighty to be, when we got this gift, the gift of laughter, it was the gift of keeping ourselves sane. I want understand what I said. I lived with someone for 3 years. I sent her and her sister to school. I paid monthly her parents' mortgage. I bought their groceries every month. I took care of her entire family. And then she took my credit card, went on the first class ticket I bought her to New York, and married another man with my money. That was supposed to make me crazy, but it didn't, because Derek C. Williams is right. But prior to that, I'd been traveling all over the world, and I'd had many different experiences. So I'm not telling you it didn't hurt, It hurt, right? I mean, it hurt. It hurt till I did the. Derek, all right, ladies. I don't know if you're aware of this. Um, SF Rose, I don't know if you're well. Okay, Tiara would know this. Men have a cry we do, right? Ladies, do not no comment in the chat about this. This is a man thing. We're talking to the brothers right now. The king's here. You queens, don't say no. So what men have a cry we do when we're really, really hurt. It's a different kind of cry, because men, we're told not to cry very often, but when we do this cry, I mean, Aisha, I don't know if your husband has ever, unfortunately, I hope not, but we do a special cry that we do. So when this happened to me, I had to do this cry, and that was the first time I remember doing that cry. It's okay. I don't know I don't know if I want to express this cry, but it's kind of like, because you want to cry, but you don't want to cry. You get what I'm trying to say to you? Like, you want to cry, but you're holding it back because you don't want her to know that she's messed you up. Sorry. So, any man in the chat here, that cry when, especially when a woman really, really hurts you. But you want to be the max. So it's kind of like you want to cry. So when she said, yeah, I got married, and I was like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I should laugh about this. What's up, the TR show? I think the TR show. I should not laugh about this, all right? I shouldn't laugh about this, but it's the truth. It's a special thing that men do. We should not laugh about it because it's a very painful and horrible thing. All right, okay. You know what? Let me stop. I've tried my entire life never ever to laugh like that ever again. It is not the kind of laugh I want to ever do. I'm sorry. Okay. Oh, okay. Oh. Derek C. Williams, you're not supposed to do that, are you? You're not supposed to do that. You're not supposed to call her by name. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. Oh my gosh. Listen, y'all don't want me to start laughing on this channel because if I start laughing, nothing I want to say after this is gonna make sense. Oh my gosh. Ladies, being a man in today's world it can be a very challenging process. And it because men are still we're still tied to a particular place in our life. We're still tied to the machismo thing, and it's something I should ask all you ladies in the chat because men are taught every movie we watch. If you're into the superhero stuff, if you're into the car stuff, or anything like that, men are taught that we have to be very, very macho and masculine. And I think when women break up, when a woman leaves a man, it can be a very, very tricky and painful process. And men have to deal with it very, very differently from how women deal with it. I mean, women seem to handle breakups very differently because it's okay for you to cry, so you can be delicate. You can go to your friends, and you can cry. I mean, I've been in the presence of women who have lost someone in terms of a relationship I'm talking about now. And it's a very painful and horrible thing to see your friends lose someone, but because they have other women around them, you girls can cry. So, you can let it all out. You can, and your friends are always like huggy, oh, don't worry about it, and women say the same things, which is stuff like, oh, don't worry, he doesn't deserve you. He didn't deserve you. He's an ass. He's horrible. And I mean, and that's a good thing that women have that, but very, very often men don't. I'm actually still crying. Very, very often men don't, and it's very difficult for men to walk that thin line between oh gosh, of trying to remain male and masculine in today's world and yet be in touch with our feminine side. Get what I'm saying? Because your male friends, men show affection really very differently, to be very honest with you. It's just the truth. And they will be supportive, but in a different way. So when a man has to cry in the presence of a woman who's about to leave him, that's a very, very, very hard thing to cope with and or deal with. I cannot imagine you and Derek C. Williams and okay, all right. Okay. Thank you, Lady B on top of it. Tell them for me. There should be more. There should be a whole lot more. Yes, I agree. Please follow the mod. Please do what you're told. Like. Sorry. Oh my gosh, I got distracted from what I'm trying to talk about. Seriously, ladies, I'm going to talk about this one day. It's very difficult to navigate today's world as a man in our modern world because the world has changed a lot. Yeah. So I'm getting distracted again. So, we're at 13 likes, Rastafarian. Please, we need at least one more like. I don't like that number. People, I don't like 13. So either remove a like or add one. So, I'm sorry. Oh my gosh. Yeah, so the other thing I wanted to talk about is, like, as I said, sometimes we are hurting people and we don't realize that we ourselves are actually doing this. We don't realize that we are being perceived as using that person. And that, thank you very much, because sometimes we as individuals, we get caught up in our own stuff, and when you walk into a relationship, you bring your own stuff to the table, and the person who is with you does not necessarily know whatever stuff you went through earlier in your existence. So the truth is, as much as I know all of us here must have a story of someone exploiting us or hurting us, sometimes intentionally, hopefully often unintentionally, the fact of the matter is, as we go through this process of trying to cope with pain, because really that's what we're talking about. We're talking about how do we handle the pain of being hurt, being used by someone that, and we're not talking about a stranger manipulating you. We're talking about your family, your loved ones, your partner, your husband, your wife, your friends, your best friends. That's what we're talking about. And that can be a really, really, really painful process for all of us to process and to deal with and to handle. And I think what many of us do is we do this. We lock the pain off inside of us. And oh my gosh. I'm still laughing in my head. Sorry. We lock the pain off inside of us, and then we bring that to edit the next situation and the next situation. And that's something that we really should never, ever do. Hi, Tiffany. Hi. Thank you for coming over to the chat, Tiff. Welcome, welcome. Okay, no problem. No problem. Hang on to listen. Thank you very much, Tiffany. Hope your meeting goes well, all right? Blessings to you too. Yeah, I drift off sometimes. I'm saying that when we are hurt, the problem is when we are used like that, when we enter the next situation or we meet another person or other individuals, the norm is that we're going to be like this. We're going to be defensive. We're going to wonder, should I open myself up to this individual? Because especially when that pain is raw and new, and I always think that we should be cautious and careful of the people we allow into our lives. We have to be cautious and careful. The truth is that no one can hurt you unless they are close to you. You would have had to let them in the space. Yeah, that's actually very, very true, Sylvia M. Dallas. And I think that's the issue. Because after we've gone through that process, because I think normally when we are hurt by someone, we do not internalize it. We don't process it. And that's why I kind of think keeping my plans, okay. All right, cool. I think we don't process it, we don't deal with it, and because we don't deal with it, it creates other problems. I don't forget what I'm trying to say to you. It means that the next set of persons you're going to meet are either going to be victims, right, of the situation that they found themselves in. Meaning you are hurt, you're in pain, you're angry, therefore you don't trust anyone, and when anyone else comes into your purview, which is natural, you're going to do this. And I don't know how easy it would be in that situation to open up and allow the next person in, but I think we have to be aware that if you don't deal with that sense of having been used or hurt by another person, it means you're going to be walking around with this, and you may lose the opportunity of meeting other people who are actually wonderful persons, who mean you well, who are going to do something good for you. Sylvia M. Dallas says also the problem with setting up a defensive wall around your heart is that you are in danger of caging yourself. That's very, very true. I mean, I could have said it any better than that. When you do that, you create a really serious problem for yourself. But again, it is natural for you to be defensive, especially, when you're being hurt. I've had people tell me about being hurt by their family. I mean, your family, the parents, their siblings. And that's the hurt that really, really hurts us. But we have to understand, Aisha says, SM Dallas, that is real. I had to learn to let my wall down. I wouldn't have my husband. And that's the point I'm trying to make. We cannot spend the rest of our lives stuck in that situation. We have to remember it, but we have to try and find a way to grow from that. Toxic Gameplays, welcome to the chat. Welcome to the chat. Okay, Carter Club, I see that. Welcome to the chat. Feel free to speak. But we have to figure out when we go through these processes because we all have our own life experiences, and we have to say to ourselves, okay, this person is not that person. This person is not. So I think we have to set up parameters. My father used to say, watch how people treat other people in your purview, in your presence. And that's the best way to assess who they are. Not necessarily how they treat you if they're trying to get close to you. Watch how they treat the other people in your purview, in your space. Watch them. Um, but dealing with that kind of pain, I think what we have to do as individuals is that we have to start listening to ourselves. You know, we talk about listening to each other constantly, but we need to actually listen to ourselves. We need to listen because I think all of us, maybe I'm wrong, but I think all of us have that little thing inside of you that says, you know, like when I met the girl at the club and that thing actually said inside of me, don't go home with that girl. I think we all have something inside of us that actually says, don't go left, go right. Don't take this job, that job. But what we tend to do is sometimes we intellectualize ourselves out of that situation. You know what I'm saying? I'm getting too Jamaican. Okay, sometimes we intellectualize ourselves. We override our gut because intellectually we believe that this is what we want and this might be the best thing for us, but that doesn't always work, as you probably figured out. So sometimes the all the necessary elements are right there that says to you this person is not for you, or this person is not in your best interest, or this is the person that you should Vernon Paint and Photo says, as a young man we need to learn to think with our parts. We need to not to learn not to think with our parts. That's actually very, very true, because I hope Linda's not hearing it, but I have done that before. I met, yeah, I've done that a few times. Obviously, Derek C. Williams have done it at least once that we know of when he was in the Navy. Sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I didn't. I'm sorry, SF Rose. People, SF Rose is going to kill me after I said that. I'm sorry. I, we know it, but it's true. Derek admitted it. I've never been like that though. I've never been that kind of person. Right? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm trying desperately to stay on topic and stay on point. You people are distracting me. You're doing this purposefully. I know you're doing this. No SF Rose. Oh yes, yes, I agree. SF Rose says player. Derek C. Williams, SF Rose is referencing as a player. You need to defend yourself, my brother. Please step up and defend yourself. Oh, Derek C. Williams says guilty as charged. All right, that's cool. So SF Rose, who is the second player for? Vermin Paint and Photos seems like a very cool person. He doesn't seem like a player to me. I don't think so. Sorry. I'm sorry. Oh my gosh. The amount, you? Is there someone in the chat called you? Who is this person that you're talking to, SF Rose? Who is you? Who's that person? Sorry. Um, it would have been nice if I was actually a player when I was younger, but I think I thought I was a player, and I really thought I was the Matt Daddy. I could do a million streams on some really embarrassing Matt Daddy moments. I've had some moments where I realized I was not the Mac. I was not. I've had some really, really embarrassing moments. I've had. I'm not going to talk about them in the stream. We're going to talk another time because y'all are trying to get me distracted from the topic on hand. If you stop and think about it, Derek C. Williams says, if you stop and think about it, you have to ask, who are they playing with? True. So what does that say about the women out there? Derek C. Williams has a point. I don't want to go off topic, but we can talk about it for a few seconds because it's the truth. Derek C. Williams has a point. When you call us players, who are we playing with? You know what I'm saying? Not that I ever did that. Being clear that Derek C. Williams did. So we're going to talk about it from Derek C. Williams' perspective. I know you have known it for a very long time, Peter Lloyd. It would take days of live streams to do a test. Oh, yeah, that's true. That's true. But some SF Rose, I just might, file in court to have you blocked. like your president. Let me not say. I need to behave myself. Yeah. So seriously, ladies, who Macklin Golit, Golilat. Hi, how you doing? I apologize. I am terrible. I'm terrible at pronouncing these names. I apologize. But welcome to the chat. Feel free. You are now family. Enter the space. It's about love and positivity and sharing in an upful way. And upful means positive way. All right. So welcome. Thank you very, very much for taking time out to join us in this live. It's very, very cool of you to do so. Derek C. Williams says lots of women to few men. This is a numerically accurate. This is numerically accurate and confirmed. Listen, Derek C. Williams, there are women in the chat who just might kill you for making that statement. You know what I'm saying? I cannot. Derek C. Williams, I cannot believe you believe that. But that you should never publicly say something like that. I'm sorry, my brother. But ladies, I know I'm again a little off topic. I'm going to get back on topic, but I have to ask you a very, very serious and honest question. Don't you like the players though? I've never ever, all my female friends, when we used to hang out, right? They never liked the nerds like me. They always liked, those guys, was the guys who stand up at the bar like this. I couldn't stand those people. Those guys who had that look, that self-assured, every woman in the club is going to like me. Listen, most of you didn't even care if the man had no sense. If he was like, he had no brains. All you care, because women behave as if, you don't, because how do players get to play unless women like players? That's a very, very serious question. Because I tried very often. When I used to wear my glasses, I used to wear thick glasses, eyeglasses. I had pimples everywhere, and do not tell anyone this. I will deny it in public. That type is called the jerk host. Yes, that's true. That's true. But it seems as if the jerks often get the girls, especially when we are in our teenage years. Because nobody looked at me. Ladies, do you know how I was able to get the few girls I dated in high school? I was able to make them laugh. I told you what my father said, if you make her laugh, you're halfway there. Because I had nothing else I could do. Silver M. Dallas says, only when I used to hurt, play the players. Okay. Thank God for Jesus. Okay, cool. Vernon Painter and Photo says, I was a bouncer when I was younger. On weekends, most of the time when the men who got tossed. Okay, I get what you're saying. All right. So maybe I'm just misinformed. Because I guess to me, to be a player, you've had to have played a lot. And I think in my mind, I thought I was, but I started to realize something very important about women. And I used to think, and this is a misunderstanding, I think men often think, especially when we're younger, we think we date women. And I started to realize we hunt. Men do not hunt. I think women allow men to hunt them. That's my honest opinion. Hunt. Yeah. Well, I think men think they're hunting women, but we're not. We don't know what I think what happens is the woman, you all get together. He's standing over there, and somewhere in your mind, you say, okay, all right, he's okay. If he doesn't open his mouth, if he opens his mouth and the wrong thing comes out, he's out of here. But, I think, and then when we come over to you, we start feeling as if, we step into you, we're saying the right thing. Hi, Amy, how you doing, Amy? We start stepping to you, and we're like, hey, you know what I'm saying? But you've already in your mind decided, okay, I'm going to give him a chance. That's what I honestly think. I think women make men feel as if we're players. I really think so. I think women, you can tell me if I'm wrong, but I think really and truly, I think women are the dominant species. I do. Ladies, I really think this. I think a lot of the things that we see happen, a lot of world decisions are really women making these decisions. There might be men in charge in those situations, but I honestly think because I really have started to believe as I've gotten older. I have two daughters, all right? And I've started to realize that, okay, first of all, let me say this to you. I mean, I know I'm going off topic here, but I want you to understand what I'm saying. Girls, if they have a good father or if they have a father present, get to practice on daddy in terms of manipulation. You can tell me if I'm wrong, but that's my theory. And from that, all right, and then because we believe we're dominant, it makes us vulnerable. It makes it easier for us to be manipulated. That's just my opinion. That is easier to manipulate us in that situation. So I might have think when I was younger, the positive mukbanger. How you doing? Good evening. Thank you for coming. Thank you so much for joining us in the chat. All right. Welcome to the family. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Derek C. Williams says, player, bad boy type. She knows it and will run with him anyway. Yikes. But that's what I'm saying. I think it's a decision factor. I think I have this good sister in Sylvia M. Dallas knows her. I don't know if she remembers her, but she knows her. And I remember she always, she came to me one day and she said, she had broken up with someone and she said, I'm just going to play the field for a little bit. And you never hear women admitting to doing this, but she admitted it. She said, I'm just going to, play the field for a little bit. And then when I'm ready, I'll have to meet the right person. And that's exactly what she did. And I see nothing wrong with that. You know what I'm saying? Listen, people, you have me so far off topic, it's not even funny. What was that? Oh, Silver M. Dallas says, I had an experience once where a man that was trying to impress me told me he could introduce me to you. What? To you? Oh, really? Oh, that's creepy on many levels. You're like my sister. I'm sorry, Sylvia. I'm sorry. But I never ever saw myself like that. I have never ever saw myself like that. Because I mean, listen, the first time SF Rose asked me, insisted that I try to do a live stream, I was terrified. Because I know me, I mean, I'll just run jokes the whole time and just laugh, because it's funny. I'm really comfortable in front of a huge gathering of individuals out there in front of me because it's fine. But talking to like one or two persons, I get terrified. I get tongue-tied and I say all the wrong things. My brain just goes into overdrive and, I just say all the wrong things. So the fact it took me a while to be able to even do, to get to the courage to do this. So I can't imagine me being younger and thinking that I was some sort of Matt Daddy. I mean, obviously my brother Derek C. Williams clearly was a Matt Daddy. You know what I'm saying? But I know I was not. I definitely was not. So anyway, trying to get back on topic because I really wanted to get back to this. Sylvia M. Dallas says, I had another experience where a man tried to impress me with lobster dinner. Oh, I laughed till I cried. My husband is a fisherman. But it's difficult for men to step to women. I guess it depends on the man, but I know for me, especially if I have like this impression of the woman in my head, it becomes really difficult. What do you say to her? How do you impress her? Especially if it's someone over a certain stage of their exposure and their development, because those women they're not easy to, you know what I'm saying? Y'all are not easy to. You know what I'm trying to say, right? Do you? Okay, so let's get back on topic. So the final thing I want to say about this is that if we're hurt, and we're all going to be hurt at some point in time, we need to acknowledge the fact that we are hurt. We need to take time to deal with the hurt. And if we have an opportunity, this is my opinion, and if the person is not violent or crazy, we should sit with the person at some time in the future and say, why did you do this? So we can resolve it. Because I think often when people are exploited or hurt, and this is the terrible thing about this, they blame themselves for being exploited or hurt. I had someone say on my Facebook feed that you can only be exploited when you allow yourself to be exploited, and I just disagree with that in every way, shape, or form. I think if you fall for someone, or if you trust someone, or if you believe that this is someone who's there to protect you and take care of you, we got to be honest. If that's the case, then you are vulnerable. And if that person, because to love someone, whether the person is your parent, your friend, your family, your loved one, your wife, your partner, your children, once you do that, you become vulnerable. And you are not going to you are going to pray and hope that that person reciprocates that feeling and feels the same way. So I think it's really, really important, right, that we try as individuals, and this is really important, we start recognizing that, look, you were exploited because you were exploited. You did nothing wrong. Caribbean Queen Tanish, welcome, welcome. No problem for being late. Thank you for entering the chat. That's Millie Legit Kicks. Welcome, welcome, bless you. You have to understand that you're human. You opened up to yourself to someone, you love the person, you cared about the person, you embrace that person. And I'm talking about from family right up. And that person betrayed you. They betrayed your trust, they betrayed your love, they betrayed all the things. So you cannot blame yourself. And very often in those situations, we really spend a lot of time reflecting and saying, I shouldn't have done this, I shouldn't have done that. That's okay. But then we also say, I did this to me, or I should have known, or I should have picked up that the person was going to do that to us. We have to, because if you don't forgive yourself, you're going to walk with this on like this forever. You know what I mean? What Jay-Z say, right? At some point, if you don't acknowledge that you were not responsible. Now, if you were, that's okay too. But very often, I think we are not responsible and we blame ourselves. And we walk around with this huge boulder on our back for a very, very long time. Silver M. Dollar says, even then, the persons close to us will hurt us also. But if we start from the position that they did not wake up with the intention to hurt us, I was getting to that, we can deal with the offense and the pain. Sometimes pride causes us not to apologize. That's very, 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 very true. Look, I always say to you, to all of you, when you hear it, if it's the first time entering my chat, thank you again. You need to hear this. You are all kings and you are all queens. You are all special. You are unique. You are the only person that exists on this planet like yourself. Even if you have a twin, you are still separate and different from your twin. You are you. What you to bring to this planet, no other person can bring to this planet. So it means that your value is countless. And you have to start from a place where you understand your value and you love yourself. In doing that, then you also have to realize that everyone else around you is also special and has value, and their value cannot be counted. It's okay. And you're going to mess up. I've messed up so many times. I just laugh about it now. I've made, I've opened up myself to people who, but in the long run, I realized this. I said, you know what? You learn something new and you move forward. And I've tried to not let go of how I feel for other people. Everywhere I go in the world, I tell people this. You are wonderful and you are special. And I mean, this is something that we're not told often enough. And more importantly, we do not tell ourselves. If you were hurt or used or exploited by someone who should not have done that, you're a victim. More importantly, if you accept that this was not your fault, if you learn to move beyond that person, then you have victory over that situation. You can't walk around with it forever. That's a hard lesson to learn. It's hard for any of us to accept that, but you have to find a way to move beyond this point. Because you need to be able to love another person, because that's how you receive your own love. So you need to forgive yourself. And that's another thing I wanted to talk about, that we have to learn to forgive ourselves in this process, because very, very often we don't do that. We don't forgive ourselves for being in a situation where we became vulnerable and we were exploited. You were not at fault. You didn't do anything wrong. You were the victim in that situation. When I started to tell people I love them, Derek C. Williams says, only adults apologize. We have scores of children in adult bodies. That is so true, my brother. That's very, very true. But I want you to also understand that we need to apologize to ourselves for making errors and mistakes. Listen, we have world leaders now who never apologize for anything. I am terrified for what those children. Imagine those children who have grown up seeing their leader saying, "I'm never wrong and I'm never going to apologize." It is nonsensical. We are human beings and we're going to make errors. We're going to make mistakes. So we're going to have, we're going to fall for the wrong person. Or we're going to put our trust in people who we probably should not have put our trust in. But that's okay. Derek, you're right. We have to learn to say, "I'm sorry, I didn't mean this, or I shouldn't have done this." That's a very, very important thing for us to learn. We have to figure that out. And if we accept our greatness in our people, if we understand that, okay, you know something, I'm not perfect, I'm not flawless, what that game I used to play, Flawless Victory. If we can get to that point, then we're good. We're okay. We're fine. We have to get to a place in our lives where we accept we're going to be hurt. Just like how you're going to fall, what do you do next? What's the answer after that? Do you confront the person who hurt you? Do you, Vermont Paint and Photos says, "My wife tells me I'm perfect in my imperfections." I would love to speak to your wife, my brother, because that's so true. That's a beautiful statement, and it's true about all of us, that none of us are perfect. And maybe this desire to be perfect is what's creating a problem for many, many of us. This is a thing that's causing us to lose our way and our sense of self, because we are trying to be, and it's okay to aspire, but we also have to understand that we're human and we're flawed and we're going to make mistakes. And if you're exploited, it's okay to look in the mirror and say, "You know something, this person has hurt me, they exploited me, they did me harm, and I want to move away from this." Let me say very quickly in the chat, Derek C. Williams, can you drop Aisha's link? Because when we leave here, we're going to raid Aisha. Can you drop her link for me, Derek C. Williams? Please, all the mods, drop her link for me, please. Because whenever we leave here, we're going to head on over to her and show her some love in her life. Please drop her link, mods, please. So like I said, when we leave here, we're heading over to Queen Aisha. We're going over to her live to show her some love. All right. Yeah. So I really wanted to talk about this because I've spoken to so many persons in the last several years who have gone through this process, and they had not processed what they've gone through, and they had not forgiven themselves for the situation, and they had not accepted that they didn't do anything wrong. Someone hurt them, and do you have our link, Derek C? Thank you, man. Thank you so very much, my brother. You're the best. So we're getting ready in a little bit. In a few more minutes, we're going to head on over to her. I wanted to say thank you very much for coming to the live. I took a little while to get into this because this whole I'm going to figure out what's going on with my YouTube Studios people, because it's throwing me off, and it throws me off psychologically. With changes in the nature and the feel of the chat kind of stuff. I'm going to be here. I have a vlog premiere on Friday. That's tomorrow at the same time, 5:30 p.m. And then after that, we're going to go into a live. The vlog is just 10 minutes, but it's going to be great. I think you're going to love it. If you are here, please drop a like, and if you have the time, come back and drop a comment, because, it helps. And say, enough love to everyone here. There's just one more thing I want to say really, really quickly about this. I think it's a final thing that we need to do, which is please understand that you are not unique in your situation. It doesn't mean that your situation is not special and different, and that your pain is diminished in any way. I'm just trying to tell you that this has happened to other persons. So you did nothing wrong in that situation. And I really want to keep stressing that you did nothing wrong in that situation. You were exploited. And at some point, we'll have to speak to the person, and hopefully that person will be able to they will have to deal with their own karma. as Nadira X had said earlier. But you need to grasp that you did nothing wrong in that situation by opening up and loving someone. You did something courageous. Whether that was your mom, your parent, whoever, you did something courageous. And it's important that you grasp this. All right. Derek C. Williams says, I will never forget the tears in Renee's eyes. I choose another. I chose another instead of her. This is in 1989. I saw her 2 years ago. I apologize. She hugged me. She has children with a husband. My loss. Um, and you know, I think she respects you even more for saying that. And I think it's wonderful that you're such a great human being that you've evolved to that place. You know. Thank you all for coming to the chat. So remember tomorrow, 5:30 p.m. We have I premiere my newest vlog. You're going to love it because I'm very excited about that vlog. And then we're going to live chat immediately after. Thank you everyone for coming in and spending this time with me. SF Rose, love you, love you, love you. Thank you very, very much. Derek C. Williams and all the mods, thank you so much. Everybody who came by, Sylvia, the new persons who came in, welcome, welcome, welcome. Amy, hugs, 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 hugs. Big heart, big heart, big heart. And I had a great time expressing myself with you. Tomorrow, I'm pretty sure the live will be much, much, much better. I was just completely thrown off by this thing. It happens to me sometimes. It's going to be great. So thank you very much. Let's head on over to the sister, the queen, Aisha. Derek C. Williams has dropped her link. Please head over to her and show some love, my brothers and my sisters. Thank you. Remember, you are all kings and you're all queens, and I love you all dearly. All right? Even if we've never met in the flesh, you are amazing creations and creators. Bless you all right? I love you. Nadira, Vermont, please in the future, the visual of you in your speed. Okay, my brother. But it's not a speedo, okay? Okay, Vermont Patent Photos, no speedo. Okay, guys, so let's head on over to Queen Aisha. Thank you all for coming. Bless you all. Oh my God, that was funny. That was funny.